Hey everyone, it's currently Monday, March 13th, and I just got finished with my day job. And luckily, because of the time change, it's actually still light outside, which is really nice. I'm a little extra tired, but I do appreciate the extended daylight. However, I've been feeling pretty burnt out lately, so what I've been trying to do is actually schedule out the art that I do during the week. Whether it be sketching, business related stuff, or for example, this week I'm trying to build a website, so I'm scheduling all of those things out. So here's just a little example. So for today, because it's Monday and it was a bit busy at my day job, I decided to just have 1 hour of working on my website, whatever needs to be done, and then taking off the rest of the day. And if I do decide I want to sketch or do something else, that's fine. It's more that I'm not putting that pressure on myself. However, tomorrow I have a few more things scheduled out. So I'm really just trying to find balance. So come along with me this week. Let's see if I can actually manage to find that. So this is my current list for things I need to do for my website. I'll probably keep adding on to it as I think of things, but this is what I currently have. So I think for today, I'm going to focus on the logo. I made the logo last year in Procreate, and honestly, while I think it's cute, it works for my banner for markets and stuff, I think it needs a little bit of work, especially for the website. I kind of want to spruce it up a little bit. So I think what I'm actually going to do is throw on a little anime and kind of just sit and work with it. Graphic design is not my passion, and it's something that I don't consider myself to be super good at, so let's see what I can come up with. And because I set aside 1 hour, I think that that is enough time to at least get an idea of what I want to do or update what I currently have to make it work. So let's go. So here's the logo that I started out with. And honestly, I didn't end up changing it that much, but I just wanted to refine it a little bit. And this is what I went with. I decided to alternate the colors and take away the purple blob in the back. And I really like how it turned out. Hey everyone, it's been a few. I ended up not talking to the camera at all yesterday, but I was able to photograph all of my stickers for my website and upcoming shop. So I feel pretty accomplished with that. So today is Wednesday, and on my sort of to-do sheet, it has website related things for 30 minutes and sketch for 1 hour. Now I ended up working on my website a little longer yesterday, and I already have plans to kind of do some co-working tomorrow evening with some friends, so I'm not really going to bother with that today. However, I haven't gotten to sit down and sketch it all this week, so that is what I'm going to do right now. I also hope you don't mind that I am in my coziest attire. I'm finished with work and I'm done looking professional today. So it's Thursday. I'm happy I got to do a little sketching yesterday, but today has been a bit of a doozy. So it is one of my work from home days, which is really nice. And it gives me a little more flexibility for what I do throughout the day between my day job and hobby stuff. However, I did have to take both cats to the vet today. Nothing serious, just their yearly checkup and vaccine update. Although I'd only planned to take one cat in, but when I got there, they had an opening, saw that my cat Eleanor, who's younger, had a couple vaccines that she could get, and so I brought her in too. So I'm a little tired. I'm kind of recovering from some of the anxiety that I had for taking both cats to the vet for what was the first time for me, and I did it by myself. So I'm very proud, but I'm a little exhausted. So I was going to set aside some time to sketch today, but I think that I need to listen to my body and take a little break. And besides, later this evening, I'm heading over to a friend's house for a little creative co-working session. Oh, the cat's got a new toy. If you hear little weird crinkly sounds. And this friend also does really wonderful creative work. Her Instagram account is called Auntie Monstera. She sells beautiful earrings made from polymer clay and beads, and she's incredible. But she's preparing for a convention she's going to be at soon. And so she and I and a few other creatives are going to get together and just have a bit of a hangout, co-working night. And I'm planning on doing a few things while I'm there, but I get distracted easily. We'll see if any of it happens. And I'll try to film some of it, but I also really enjoy being present when I'm around other people, so we'll see what happens. But I'll see y'all in a little bit. So I really didn't get much done, but I got to hang out with some friends and do a little sketching. Wow, so it's already been an entire week, and we are back at Sunday. I think I started on Sunday. I could be wrong about that. But it is actually already almost 2 in the afternoon. I'm getting a bit of a late start today, but I did a little bit of sketching this morning and relaxing. I took both Saturday and Friday, or I took both Friday and Saturday off, which was honestly really needed. I was pretty exhausted, and I don't think that anything I would have created on those days would have been that good. I think I just really needed to rest. And I think that that's something important to remember. And so I'm happy I scheduled in that rest time. But today, I'm actually gonna do a little bit of painting. Let's see if I can get her in frame. So I did this little sketch on the couch this morning, and well, I did it on Procreate, and then I transferred it onto some paper. It's a little hard to see. I'll show you a better close-up in a moment. So I did this sketch this morning, and I really like it. The theme is sort of like April showers. I want her to look a little sad. I want there to be some like rain in the background. I really want to use a negative painting technique, and I want to use some like cool but vibrant colors. But here's the catch. I am not doing nearly as much planning as I'm used to with paintings, and I think that's really necessary for me. I really want to start painting more often, but what usually gets me stuck is I do too much planning and I get really perfectionist for every single step. For the colors, for the line work, for the sketch, and it just slows me down a lot. And half the time it doesn't even turn out that great anyways, and I think some of it is because I get a little too caught up in all the little details, and I lose sight of the bigger picture. So today, I gave myself this sketch, but I'm only giving myself 2 hours to paint. I will finish this today. I might hate it at the end, that's okay, but the goal is to do more painting. So I'm going to set my timer starting at 2 p.m. and by 4 o'clock, this is gonna be done. So hopefully we are able to do that today. So looking back, I definitely was a little overambitious here, and that was kind of the point. I didn't want to give myself time to sit and overthink things and just go for it, but there are definitely some places that things fell short. One of that being my color selection. I ended up having very similar values and kind of too similar of colors throughout, and you know, maybe it does make sense for full pieces to sit and plan out those colors, but that wasn't my goal today. I also, some of the things that I planned take time, and one of those things was the negative painting. You'll see later, but it ends up not looking very clean, and I had to really rush it because by the time I got to the background, I had like 20 minutes left, so I ended up having to rush quite a bit. So I think what this whole thing taught me was that there is a balance to be struck. And I think I will try a challenge like this again, but with a slightly less elaborate idea. I think it would work a lot better with maybe a more simple portrait. And yeah, I think that was my biggest mistake, was just picking something a little too elaborate. However, I think if I had planned things out, it possibly would have gone faster. I'm not really sure. But anyways, I had quite a bit of fun with this. It's about 3 o'clock. It's been 1 hour. And so far, I like how it's turning out. And while I do want to do it in just 2 hours, I'm going to take just a little break for some coffee. I find that when I sit and just work on something, I tend to make more mistakes when I don't actually get up and stretch and do some other stuff. So while this isn't meant to be perfect, I do want to also make sure I'm taking care of myself and my body. And I find on days where I just sit and paint, I end up with a pretty bad headache because I'm just so intensely focused and tense. So time to take a little break. So this is kind of what I talked about earlier, this negative painting technique. For this to be done well, it does take time since you are painting around different shapes, and normally I would trace them out a little bit more and plan them a little better, but they ended up being really haphazard. I didn't really think about the size of them. They ended up looking just a little wonky, and I think the concept is there. I think that the idea of raindrops using this painting technique is a good idea, but I think that these definitely could have used some fine tuning, as you can see here. But really, I was just rushing since I was running out of time and just trying to have some semblance of something in the background, and also trying to fit in some last-minute line work. So here's the final reveal. I think it turned out cute, but definitely I'm noticing some things missing, some things that I would like to add in the future. But yeah, let's hear my thoughts when I first completed this piece. Wow, that was a little stressful. I definitely did not finish it. I struggled a little bit with the background, so I did this sort of like negative painting, which is when you like paint around something. The paper wasn't enjoying it too much. I was using a lot of water. I also wish I would have planned out my colors a little more, but part of this practice was that I was just going in and just doing it. This is what I got. I actually do like this concept, and I think that if I spent a little more time either on this one or just scrapping it and starting over and maybe planning things out more, I would really like it. But the point of this was not to have a finished piece in the end. It was just to see what I could do in 2 hours, and honestly just setting aside a time to paint and get back into things. I've been feeling pretty, rusty when it comes to my painting skills and also my drawing skills, so I think this is a really good little practice for me. And I'll keep this little idea in my head for a rainy day. So before I finish up for today, I wanted to go over a little bit about this past week. So I forgot to talk about Thursday since I ended up going over to someone else's place and not filming very much. Let's just say some of this stuff did not happen. This did not happen. This did not happen. This definitely did not happen. However, this one did happen. We watched some movies and chatted quite a bit, so I was pretty distracted. I couldn't really work on this stuff, but I think it's important to make room for the different things in your life, and I don't often get together with people, so it was important for me to really engage with them. And that is why I only really got some sketching done. Now for Friday, sadly enough, these two things did not happen. I scheduled this, but it did not upload properly and I didn't have time to fix it. And so I decided just to put these off to next week, and I think I'm going to try to post earlier in the week instead. So these are going to be for later. I did take my break on Saturday, and today I painted for 2 hours. I will be doing these things later in the evening, probably off camera. But yeah, that's one realistic week, and I think I definitely got a lot closer to finding some balance. So I was in the middle of editing and realized I never filmed an outro, so I'm going to do that now, but I'm also going to give a little bit more of my thoughts about this. I actually thought that writing down and kind of planning things out was super helpful, as long, and this is important, as long as I allowed it to be flexible and to be changed. Those were ideas, not to be set in stone, but it was nice to go into my day knowing that I was going to make time for those things. But also, if, plans came up or if there was a change in my schedule, I was allowed to be flexible. Like, for example, on Tuesday, there ended up being a lot of sunlight, so I decided to shoot some photos and ended up being a little too tired afterward to sit down and do some sketching, but I moved that to the next day instead. And so allowing myself to kind of plan as I go, but also plan ahead at the same time was super useful for me. And I'm still refining it, I'm still figuring things out, but overall things did feel a lot more balanced. And, balancing, I'm saying that word a lot, but balancing a full-time job and a side business / hobby can be really difficult, especially when you don't want to burn out. And so I'm hoping that this helps me, and I plan on vlogging a little more and checking back in and hopefully sharing more about how this is working for me. And with that being said, please like the video if you enjoyed it. My cats are chasing each other. And I will see you all next time. Bye.